Hey guys, it's me, Legend Killer. I'm a member of RKS System, the YouTube channel, and welcome back to another video, and let's hop straight into it. Quite a few food fights happened back when I was in middle school, and barely any food fights happened when I was in high school, and literally just a dust cloud of evidence that there was any that went on in my elementary school. Don't remember too much about that, but it was a fine time. Now I'm gonna go over. There was three different ones. There was one with grapes. There was another one that was really messy with blueberries, and there was the one that I considered the most epic. And they just used all the condiments they had on their tray, even the tray itself, as a projectile. And I'll go over the grape one and the blueberry one in this video, but the one where they just threw all kinds of condiments and stuff in the air, I'll go over another video because I don't want this video to get too long. And yeah, let's get right into it with one that I believe is the third best. This one with the grapes. Now it wasn't too bad. It was still a food fight nonetheless, but it wasn't anything too crazy. So what I remember that from this was the grapes were thrown in like all kinds of different directions, and I remember you could just look up from your tray and you would see grapes just randomly flying places. There wasn't too many being thrown, but it's still just kind of funny that every few seconds you just see some grapes being thrown. And just for this one, just looking around, you could see that there was grapes, like whole grapes that were still intact, lying everywhere, and grapes that were splattered on like tables and stuff. And now that I think about it, if you were just like hit with a grape, the weight of the grape, it causes more like force. Just because it's heavier, and you don't even have to throw it too hard for it to be more have more of an impact. And I'm going to talk about one of the incidents I had in one of the various grape fights. Not this one specifically, but one that happened. So it was only because I was provoked. Now, this guy from my class, he messed with me a bit. He walked up to me while I was sitting down eating my food, and he just started throwing grapes at me like one after the other. And I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? So what I did was I used these grapes as ammunition that he threw at me. I picked them up and started rapid fire throwing them back, and it just became a back and forth. And then it eventually ended. I'm not sure if he got bored. I'm not sure if he's like, oh, so this guy's just going to continuously keep throwing grapes back at me when I throw it at him. So I think either he got bored or we ran out of ammunition to throw at each other. I don't exactly remember how. And so next on to the blueberry fighting now. The blueberry fights, where it was my second favorite fight, the one that I'm talking about now. There was, I think, two, but I remember this one because it was the most messy. So how it started was, I remember walking from the lunch line to go sit down at my table, and I looked all over the place, and there was blueberries everywhere. I was like, what in the world? There were still blueberries like flying across the cafeteria. And I know this one was one of the messiest ones besides the ones with all kinds of condiments, because there was just blueberries everywhere. This one was way more messy, way worse, because there was constantly blueberries flying all over the place, let me tell you. So when you would just look around, you would see blueberries splattered on the tables. This one especially had just so many pieces of the fruit that was mainly used just splattered on the tables, all over the floor. Like, it was literally a minefield. Every few inches, there was a crushed blueberry or a whole blueberry, but that was rarely. Most of the time, it was just a crushed blueberry. And just think about that. You could end up like just normally walking and then get it crushed on your shoe. And just imagine how it would be to get a bunch of blueberries off your shoe. Like, you're gonna have to wash that off. You're gonna have to peel the little blueberry skins off your shoe. But I cannot stress enough how many blueberries were all over the floor, crushed, and how messy it was. And I cannot stress how many blueberries are flying through the air. The intervals at which blueberries were constantly flying through the air was freaking hilarious. And there was just so many constantly flying through the air. Being hit with one was just extremely likely. Well, not extremely likely, but it was pretty likely. Plus, they were also landing in people's trays, and just thinking about someone's grubby little hands touching those blueberries. Because remember back in school, a lot of people would just not wash their hands after walking out of the bathroom. So I'd never understood why people eat with their hands, because I know a lot of people don't sanitize their hands in school. That's why I was using napkins and stuff. But I always remembered, like, when they were falling on people's trays, I know, just knowing in my mind, just thinking about it, that someone's nasty little hand touched these little piece of food and it landed on your plate. Some people, it landed in their food, and I think some might have landed in my food, or either that or I was protecting it. But I know most people just push their trays away because, like, who's gonna eat that? That might have been somebody else's saliva, someone else's nasty little hands. Someone's little nasty little hands touching a piece of food. You don't want to get germs or sick or anything. But in this one, I had an altercation with this one random girl, and what happened was I assumed that she had hit me with some blueberries that I assumed that she had tossed the blueberries that had hit me, and so I took a handful of blueberries and I just threw it back at her, and she was a few tables away, so I had to put some force behind that throw. And then after doing that, I quickly dug down, and I thought it was kind of funny. And I was pretending I didn't know what was going on. Like, I was just talking to my friend normally. But out of the corner of my eye, I did see that she did toss some back in my direction. And so I just assumed that she didn't know it was me because they didn't hit me. I think they like flew over my head. But I just assumed that, it's best to assume that she didn't know it was exactly me, or she would have just straight up threw it at me. Because I remember when they hit her, she had turned around, but I was pretending that I wasn't looking at her, so she wouldn't have caught me. And I remember regretting it kind of immediately, because I didn't know that if it was her exactly that hit me with the blueberries. All I know is it came from her direction. And yeah, so guys, the third one. Now, the third food fight was the craziest one. But I'm going to get into that in another video. It's going to be the best food fight. Literally, it was S tier. I'm going to get that into another video. And so, yeah, let's end the video. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe and hit that notification if you want to see more. And especially liking this video will notify me if you guys want to see more storytime videos like this. And yeah, see you next time. Don't forget to comment on what you think about it, what you would like to see. And this was Legend Killer from Arceus System. Goodbye.